Welcome back to 360 Recaps. Today we will recap Season 1 Episode 2 of Only Murders in the Building. Mabel draws Tim while watching old episodes of Brazos. There are several tabs open on her computer showing that she was looking through Tim's social media. Endearingly, she wears the engagement ring Tim had ordered, but takes it off to put in her pocket. As she does this, a piece of paper is slid under her door, but she ignores it. As Mabel listens to Brazos, she is stunned that what he is saying on the show is verbatim to what he told her as he was picking the lock, leading her to believe he was lying about his abusive father and was merely making it up for sympathy. Oliver and Charles record for the podcast in a hot closet, but the writing is terrible because they know little about Tim. When Mabel arrives, she tells them that she wasn't able to find any information about Tim online, but we are shown a memory of Tim and Mabel arguing about a death amongst their friends that happened years ago and why he never spoke to the police. Their friendship ends with this conversation. Because Tim had no friends, Mabel suggests they go to the memorial service the building is having for him to get more information on him. At the service it is revealed that no one really liked Tim and that there were a great many complaints filed against him. Oliver tries to record interviews for the podcast, but it appears as if more people are distraught over Howard's dead cat than they were of Tim. As the three discuss the murder victim, Oliver fills his pockets with food because he has no money. The HOA president approaches him and reprimands him for not paying his building fees. Mabel has flashes of Tim's dead body and decides to record a heartfelt video message of herself memorializing Tim. We get a flashback of how she met him as well as the rest of their friend group, the Hardy Boys, that included Oscar and his girlfriend Zoe. Oscar was the superintendent's son and Zoe convinced him to make a copy of his dad's master key so that they could enter any apartment they wanted when the owner was gone. However, even though Zoe was rich, she would often steal items from people's homes. Mabel recounted, "It was fun, until the end." Meanwhile, Oliver and Charles go to see Ursula, the building manager, to see if they can dig up any information about Tim. She likes Oliver and is about to give him files on Tim until Charles shows up. She doesn't like Charles because he never tips her at Christmas. He instead chooses to give her an autographed picture of himself each year. She forces the men to buy boxes of beverages that she sells in order to get the information. The three decide to break into Tim's apartment to find out more about him. Mabel looks around and sees that Tim has kept a collection of the Hardy Boys book series. Oliver sees a stack of past due bills and deduces that Tim was having money problems. They find no trace of a girlfriend or fiancé, but Oliver emerges ecstatically with sex toys and whips that he found in another room. As Mabel looks around the apartment, she has a flashback of the last night the four friends were together on New Year's Eve. Zoe and Mabel admire each other in the mirror and Mabel notices that Zoe has once again stolen something. Oscar tells Mabel how beautiful she looks, making Zoe jealous. The four take a picture together, the same picture that is the screensaver on Mabel's laptop. Zoe and Oscar get into an argument and she accuses him of cheating. While getting a drink, Mabel hears Zoe scream and runs to see what happened. She sees Tim leaving the scene and he tells Mabel that he saw someone fighting with Zoe. When Mabel asks if it was Oscar, Tim says that it was someone else. Meanwhile, Charles and Oliver find cat prints in Tim's blood. They believe it to be Evelyn, the cat that was being grieved at Tim's memorial. Because the cat was in the room after Tim's death, the trio now believe Howard, the cat's owner, to be a suspect. Upon returning to Oliver's apartment, the two men start irreverently talking about Tim. This upsets Mabel as she feels as though they are trivializing him. Mabel then confronts Charles about his story about his abusive father. She calls it bull manure. Charles admits that it was strange for him to recount it line for line, but it was the only piece of dialogue that the show let him write, and that it was all true. The three decide to make a pact that they will all tell each other the truth about everything. But as soon as Mabel leaves, Oliver says that he doesn't trust her. Mabel goes back to Tim's apartment. While there, she imagines having a conversation with a dead Tim. She tries to get answers from him, but Tim won't give her straight answers. Only that he liked watching her figure things out. Mabel walks over to the Hardy Boys book collection that Tim has and starts looking through them. As she opens them, she sees that the books are hollowed out and filled with jewels and other paraphernalia. We go back to Mabel leaving a video message talking about Tim. She said he was never the type to lie about anything, except the night that Zoe died. She asks rhetorically, who was Tim Kono? And then declares that she will find out. Do you enjoy true crime? Play an interactive true crime-inspired murder mystery game where you get to search the victim's room by clicking on items and watching scenes of her life. Based on a true story, solve the murder of this young woman.
What happened? Who did this to me?
Just click on the link in the description to play this free game. Subscribe for more videos, click the notification bell to be notified when new episodes are recapped, and as always, stay sleuthy.